Early Life of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Episodes 2, my dear brothers and sisters. Last time we spoke about the blessed birth of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. How his arrival brought light into a world full of darkness. Today we continue that journey. Let us step into the early years of his life, the childhood of the greatest man who ever lived. From the moment the Prophet, peace be upon him, opened his eyes, Allah's mercy surrounded him. As you remember, he was born an orphan. His father Abdullah had already passed away before his birth. His mother, Aminah, loved him deeply, but Allah had chosen a special plan for this child. He wanted his beloved prophet to grow up depending only on him, not on wealth, power, or family. His life was meant to be a message for all of us, that even in pain, Allah's plan is always perfect. In those days, it was common for Arab families in Makkah to send their newborn babies to the desert. Why? Because the desert air was clean, the people were strong, and the children grew up learning pure Arabic. So little Muhammad, peace be upon him, was also sent to the desert to be raised by a noble woman named Halimah Sa'diyah. Now listen carefully, because this part is full of miracles. When Halimah came to Makkah with other women to take babies for nursing, she was riding an old weak donkey, and her camel gave almost no milk. Her family was poor, and her baby cried from hunger. But as she entered Makkah, all the wealthy families had already found children to nurse. Only one baby was left, the orphan boy, Muhammad, peace be upon him. At first, Halimah thought, he has no father, no wealth, how can I take him? But something in her heart whispered, take him, for he is blessed. So she decided to take the baby Muhammad, peace be upon him, into her arms. And from that moment, everything began to change. Her old donkey suddenly became fast and strong. Her camel, which had stopped giving milk, now gave milk more than ever before. Her husband was shocked. He said, "Oh Halimah, this is a blessed child." And she smiled, knowing that this was the truth. The tribe that had been suffering from drought suddenly found blessings in their animals and crops. Everywhere the baby Muhammad, peace be upon him, went, there was barakah, blessings from Allah. Halimah loved him deeply. She said later, from the day I took him, blessings entered my home. The little prophet, peace be upon him, grew up pure, kind, and calm. He never cried for useless things, never fought, and never caused harm. Other children were rough and wild, but he was gentle and thoughtful, even as a child. One day, when he was about 4 years old, something miraculous happened. He was playing outside with other children when 2 angels dressed in white appeared. They laid him down gently, opened his chest, and took out his pure heart. They washed it in a bowl of Zamzam water and filled it with light and wisdom. Then they placed it back and sealed it. The children who saw this ran to Halimah, shouting, "Muhammad has been hurt." She ran in fear, but when she saw him, he was calm and unharmed, just brighter and more peaceful. Halimah realized that this child was no ordinary boy. She knew he was chosen by Allah for something greater. She loved him, but she feared for his safety. So with a heavy heart, she took him back to Makkah and returned him to his mother Aminah. Aminah was overjoyed to see her son again. She would look at him and say, "My child, when I see your face, my fears disappear." She knew there was something special about her little boy. When the Prophet, peace be upon him, was about 6 years old, Aminah decided to take him to Yathrib, the city we now know as Medina. She wanted to visit the grave of his father, Abdullah. So she set out on the long journey with her son and a servant named Aman. The journey was peaceful but emotional. Aminah showed young Muhammad, peace be upon him, the land where his father was buried, telling him stories about his noble character. But on their way back to Makkah, something heartbreaking happened. Aminah fell sick. Her health worsened with each passing day, and finally she passed away in a place called Abwa, between Makkah and Medina. Imagine, my brothers and sisters, the little boy, only 6 years old, sitting beside his mother's grave in the middle of the desert. He had no father, and now no mother. Yet not once did he complain. Allah was preparing his heart to be strong, patient, and full of faith. Because one day, he would carry the pain of the entire Ummah, all of us. After his mother's passing, Amin brought him safely back to Makkah. His grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, took him into his care. Abdul Muttalib loved him more than anything. He would sit near the Kaaba, and nobody was allowed to sit on his mat, except young Muhammad, peace be upon him. When others tried to stop the boy, Abdul Muttalib would say, "Leave him. My son is special. He will have a great future." But when the Prophet, peace be upon him, turned 8, another sadness came. His grandfather passed away too. "Dada!" Before dying, Abdul Muttalib placed his hand in the hand of Abu Talib, the Prophet's uncle, and said, "Take care of him, for he is precious." Abu Talib fulfilled that promise. He loved the boy like his own son. Though he wasn't rich, he gave Muhammad, peace be upon him, everything he could: love, safety, and guidance. And so, the young prophet grew up, surrounded by loss, but never by hatred, surrounded by hardship, but never by despair. He learned compassion through struggle, patience through pain, and faith through loneliness. Allah was shaping his heart, polishing his soul, and preparing him to carry the message that would change the world forever. Even as a child, he was known for his truthfulness and purity. People would say, "This boy never lies, never cheats." Wherever he went, people felt peace around him. His smile, his kindness, his calmness, all were signs that this child was meant for something divine. My dear brothers and sisters, the childhood of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, teaches us something powerful. No matter what pain life gives you, never lose hope in Allah. You may feel alone, but Allah is always preparing you for something greater. Whenever you face sadness, remember this: our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, faced every kind of pain, but his heart never turned away from Allah. That's why he became the most beloved to Allah. And in the next episode, we'll talk about how the young Muhammad, peace be upon him, entered his youth, how he worked, earned respect, and became known as Al-Amin, the most truthful and trustworthy. Until then, my brothers and sisters, keep following the true Sunnah, the path of truth, mercy, and light. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, so together we can keep learning from the life of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the mercy for all mankind.